Hello, everyone from Akasa Living. I want to talk to you a bit today about how do you know if you're living your best and highest good, or if you're giving into the lesser aspects of self and you're living timelines that are not your best and highest good. And why does that even happen? And what do we do about those things? How do we use meditation even to correct that situation? So that's what I want to talk to you about today. Before we begin, I want to say, as I have been saying in all the videos, it doesn't matter what your belief system is. Welcome. You can believe however that you want to believe. And this does not negate that, nullify it, compete with it, any of those things. I'm simply talking about the fact that we are energy molecules and that molecules behave in a certain way. And because of that, we need to understand that we are energy and how we therefore function as energy so we can live our best and highest timelines. We have not known that we are energetic beings, and we are awakening to that. Many people are calling it spiritual awakening. I don't equate it with spirituality in any way. It's simply a fact. We are energy and we are awakening to that. And then how we take and use that information and fit it in with our belief systems, that's entirely up to each individual. So it has nothing to do with spirituality or a belief system. It's the science of the fact that we are energy, and energy has certain ways it has to behave. And it's also metaphysical because, yes, it is conscious energy. And therefore, there are some things there to understand about that. But beyond that, however you believe, you believe. What we're talking about here is we're energy. And that's what we're waking up to. So welcome, one and all. Glad to have you. The other thing I want to say is at the end of every meditation, you're welcome to close it according to your practice. And at the beginning of every meditation, call in whoever you wish to work with. If you work with angels, if you work with your ancestors, other beings of the light, whatever's your best and highest good, whatever your belief system is, I call in only source energy, only light energy. I want everyone to call in what is, according to their belief system, their best and highest good. All right. So that is the other thing I wanted to cover. And when you are meditating, many people say, I can't do meditation because my mind wanders. Good. If your mind wanders, it's probably someplace your mind needed to go. It's probably something that you needed to transcend. And you probably, as you are in a higher level of consciousness, needed to let go. Right below the level of consciousness that you've risen up to, just let it pass. That's why our mind does wander. Those things are there because we need to deal with them. So good, that's not a bad thing. Just let it pass. Just let it pass. That's what we're doing. We're releasing those things that it's time to let go of. So let it pass. Go back to your breathing and just keep going. If it's something that didn't need to pass, okay, just go back to your breathing anyway. You'll know. You'll know. Do not worry about, I'm not doing it right. You can't do it wrong. There is no, you have to go completely to center and everything goes away and over time you get it perfect. No, you won't. We never get it perfect because this is what we're here to do, is to come up to higher levels of conscious awareness and to let the things that are lower than that go. So that is part of the process. It's not necessarily your mind wandering at all. It's not a failure on your part at all necessarily. So please don't feel that way. All right? Okay. As what we've been talking about. There go the lights. My lights go up. My lights do not do that unless I'm talking about energy. And when I do that, they give commentary. So folks, you'll enjoy the lights as they go up and down. People tend to enjoy the light show back there. When we are talking about the fact that we are energy, source energy, that we all come from, has a part of itself that it maintained as pure. And then from there, it divided, and it kept dividing and dividing and dividing. And the divisions became the light beings that we are. Now, these light beings eventually kept expanding consciousness, expanding consciousness, expanding consciousness, and everything kept through a system of chakras or points of energetic transference, kept being transmitted back to source. So it's everything in real time. Source is immediately aware. Source is immediately aware. Source is immediately aware of everything in real time. Okay? That is the entire collective record of everything right there, or Akasha for that matter. So people call it Akasha. That is the conscious collective, all right? Now, we do have a human conscious collective that is for this planet, but this is the entire cosmic conscious collective that we're talking about, source, all right? So as we expanded consciousness and kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it, there's a bandwidth of consciousness, unconditional love, this energetic bandwidth, where it became consciously aware. It became consciously aware of emotion. It became consciously aware of itself. It wanted to therefore begin experiencing that bandwidth of energy, what it had discovered, what it understood at the highest level of vibration in the form of pure energy. It wanted to begin to experience that conscious awareness in physicality. It is wonderful to become consciously aware and to know there is emotion and feeling, and that there are feelings that we don't want to get into because we're unstable there, energy is unstable there, that there's this energetic bandwidth though that is healthy and stable called unconditional love, and to become aware of it, that was a wonderful thing. But energy vibrating so fast that it's just energy with no tactility discovered a whole lot of stuff that it couldn't experience. Each individual light being connected to source through the chakra system, which is points of energetic transference, a massive chakra system. It's like a tapestry of chakras, all right? Each individual light being slows its molecules down until the molecules slow down enough to have at the very bottom of the bandwidth that is still this healthy unconditional love. It's not down below that where we're getting into unstable energy, but still healthy energy, still in the bandwidth of unconditional love. It's tactile, it's physical. And that physicality is expressed as human, as humanity. And in that physical human being, energy can be expressed at its fullest. The fullest expression of all of the expansion of consciousness of source is experienced through being human, the physicality of human beingness. Source, pure source energy, divided into light beings. Now, these light beings, as we're slowed down to have up at the top, we're vibrating equal to source, okay? And then as we come down at the bottom, the very bottom, 5D is what this is, okay? 3D, which is what we've been in, is unstable energy, right? That's why we have famine, war, we don't get along, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Our health is not what it should be. We are not all abundant, we're not all prosperous, et cetera, because we dipped below 5D. This is why. As the energy slows down for each light being to become physical at the bottom of the bandwidth, by necessity, layers of energy form in between. It's like a parfait. There are different densities that form, different aspects of us with different levels of conscious awareness. You see, as energy slows down its vibration to become physical or tactile, to come together, for the molecules to come together in physicality, they're the lights. Well, by necessity, it decreases in level of conscious awareness. So each stratosphere, if you will, each strata, each layer, each density, each plane has a little bit lesser level of conscious awareness. But they're all higher levels of conscious awareness than we are, because we are the bottom. But none of them, they're the lights, can express energy and the tactility, the physicality and the fullness. None of them can have the fullness of expression of the as above experience below that we can have. We are the ultimate expression of conscious energy. So we are the desired goal. Source and us. 1 + 1. Our relationship together, the life we have here, the 3, that's our relationship. 1 + 1 = 3. That's the relationship we have. That is the goal. As above, so below. A beautiful life in the bandwidth of unconditional love, not below. All right? Now here's the issue. These different levels of conscious awareness, they don't know everything that Source knows because they are denser energy, just like we're denser energy. And so because they are denser energy, what they do know is, well, we want to have our physical expression. We want to physically express what we are aware of. We want physicality. So a competition began. And the programmable mind more readily accepted what the denser energies had to say than staying connected to Source. As we dipped into, as the lower density or lower level of conscious awareness started convincing the programmable mind to accept denser energies, and we got below the bandwidth of unconditional love, it literally disconnected our chakra system so that we were not getting the level of communication with Source energy that we should be getting to override these aspects or transcend them and prevent them from interfering with our as above, so below direct line of communication, so that we live the best and highest timeline possible, so that we live the as above timeline, because Source is us. And that is entirely why we exist, is for this purpose. And is the only reason these aspects exist. They are a byproduct, if you will, of our creation, of Source slowing energy down to express itself through us. So no one's free will is being usurped here. We are the free will. We are it. We are Source's free will to have a beautiful below experience representative of what it understands above. And it wishes to communicate that with us. It is the in-between that is doing the usurping because it wants to express all these different layers. They want to express themselves. All right. So that is where all the trauma, drama, blame, shame, woulda, coulda, shouldas, past life issues and ancestral and lineage issues and the energy getting attached to our DNA, et cetera, et cetera. That's where all of that has come from. It's all the things we're clearing now and we're progressing from now. And we're learning to become sovereign of self from now. As we come back up into 5D energy, as we come back up into conscious awareness of the fact that we are these energetic beings. Whatever your belief system about how we are these energetic beings. Although if you listen to what I'm saying, much of it sounds like most of the religions of the world in one way or the other. In some way, it has aspects of it at least, flavors of it at least. It's because we're energy. That's what these belief systems have been trying to tell us, but the information got muddled by these aspects, mucking things up with denser energy, trying to usurp the bandwidth of our lifetime so they could express themselves instead of Source energy, the highest timeline possible. How do we know that we are expressing or living out the highest timeline possible? Because now that we're aware of this, of course, certainly that's the goal, is expressing, allowing Source to express through us. So we experience, so we be, feel, and experience the highest timeline possible. So that is the goal. We want for Source to express through us the highest timeline possible. How do we know that that's happening? How do we know it's not happening? When these aspects of self are competing with source for our energetic bandwidth for this lifetime. These aspects will be having us do things that don't feel as good. They don't feel as good. Our emotions, we have been taught, ignore those, they'll get you in trouble. This is why we were taught that. Because our emotions are exactly what we're supposed to go by. We are emotional beings, and that is how Source created us. Our heart is our intuitive mind. Our heart space, our emotions, is how Source communicates with us. So these aspects, don't listen to the heart. Don't get emotional about it. Don't follow that. In the mind, that's what we've been taught. We've been programmed with that. Let the mind do the thinking for you. No, the mind is programmed. The heart is where we get the correct information, not the mind. So when we have an intuitive hit, when something lights us up and the mind starts arguing with us, most likely we're being talked out of our highest timeline. Or when we feel like we're being guided or get an intuitive hit to do something that, well, I see why, but it doesn't feel quite right. It feels like that's going to be shortchanging me. And it probably is. And that's not your highest timeline. An example of this is the twin flame journey stuff. This is a huge example of it. Yes, there are many twin flames incarnate right now. And yes, twin flames are meant to come across one another, do their healing work, get their chakra systems in order, clear their energies, so they're communicating clearly with Source, living their highest timeline, and then they align to one another. There go the lights, and they come together. However, not all twin flames are doing this. Frequently, only one twin is doing all of this, and the other twin is living a life that is being controlled mostly by all its various aspects. Whenever you are in a twin flame situation and your best and highest good is to keep moving forward, but you have this intuitive hit, but we can't do that because of our twin, or we should do this because of the twin. Hold on a second. That's not my best and highest good. And then you'll get, well, that's selfish though. They're our twin. They're the only person here that matches our energy perfectly. We're being selfish now. We need to do what it takes to get them into alignment, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These are the other aspects of us who want to experience their twin flame in physicality. And so they want to use our energy to make that happen. And if they can keep us connected to the twin here, then we'll agree to things like astral travel, to meet with the twin. We will stay so connected with the twin that we're telepathically linked. So all of these other aspects, which do they one another, they can even be in union together. We can even be having lives together, beautiful lives together. But those lives are not the same tactility or physicality as ours. Higher levels of conscious awareness, but not the same physicality as ours. So to enjoy the level of physicality that Source intends, as above, so below, they try to keep us connected here. Even if it's twin here in this reality is not doing the work. We are in a negative energy loop or an energy deficit. We are putting energy into a relationship without an energetic return back and are being guided by aspects of ourselves to do so, because those aspects are attached to that twin flame. And so we are being overruled. Our intuitive heart, our intuitive mind is being overruled. And we believe we are being guided for our best and highest timeline because it's our twin. But we're not. Anything that puts you in an energy deficit loop, anything that puts you trying to be with energy that's not resonant, and therefore you change yourself, you come out of frequency to be with that energy, that's an energy deficit loop. That is not your best and highest timeline. Whether it's twin flame, whether it's a job you're trying to stay with that you are no longer resonant with, whether it's family that you don't resonate with, that you were born into and never resonated with, or just don't resonate with now, or friends, whatever the situation. But twin flame is a big one because there's so much emotion. So even though we're told now, don't let your emotions get into it, these aspects are really clever here because they're like, well, no, twin flame is different because they're our twin, because they want you to stay connected there. So they're using your emotions to keep you connected. Because as I said, in all these other aspects, those lives, those planes of existence, those strata of energies, in many of them, you may be in union. And whatever degree of physicality there is there, you're sharing. But that degree of physicality is not a degree of human beingness. And that is what as above, so below is all about. So these other aspects, even though there's union here, they still want to keep us connected to the twin and to try to get union here, no matter what. There goes the lights. Because they want that physicality here. And it's understandable. That is, their level of consciousness is aware. That is their perfect match. Every chakra went off. That's my person. Now, I want to get that energy down there all the way to the densest of physicality, to the most tactile, and experience it there. But one alone can't do that. Whether it's twin flame, whether it's a job, your relationship with an employer, your relationship with a family, whatever the type of relationship, you cannot allow yourself to pull yourself out of frequency and do the 3D thing and bend yourself like a pretzel and fill roles and try to bridge to people. Or these aspects, they may think they're winning, but they're not. They're getting a denser experience. They're not getting an unconditional love experience. But we haven't known that because we didn't even know what unconditional love is. How many people are still saying unconditional love is, I love them, therefore I have to put up with whatever they're doing because I love them unconditionally. Talk about being caught up in an energy deficit loop, folks. Oh, no, you don't. You don't allow anyone to do just whatever because you love them. Your child, your parent, your work, your twin flame, no one. Because that puts you in the energy of, I allow people to treat me however they want to. And that's the energy you put out. And before you know it, everybody that you encounter treats you with disrespect, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's what you become. That's what you put out. That's how you feel about yourself. And how many people that we know in 3D energetic behavioral patterns, that is exactly the life they're living. Depressed, not feeling good about themselves, pretending they do, trying to make everything look like it's hunky-dory, but really they're miserable. Well, I can't let the kids see that. I really don't like that, they're doing that. But yes, you can. Use your voice, because that's what the earth plane of existence is. Akasa is the earth plane of existence, that bandwidth of unconditional love. That is where we speak up and we express ourselves authentically. So we get that as above, so below experience. By speaking up for our authenticity, that is claiming sovereignty of self. And that is telling these aspects, no, you exist merely because for source energy to become the greatest expression of physicality possible, it had to slow down to human beingness. And you're simply what's in between. And you do not get an expression. You exist, yes, and you have expression in the form you're in, but it stays there. Now, many people will tell you that multidimensional living and multidimensionalism and expansive living is embracing those dimensions as well. Those are illusion. Those do not have the physicality that we do. And they would love for us to embrace that, because then they're using our energetic bandwidth again. They have control over us instead of us allowing source to come down and be through us our highest timeline. Instead, we're listening to them and the illusion that they have, because they're not physical, they do not have the physicality we have, the illusion they have, they're trying to express through us. Now, if we're at whatever they're trying to express that with comes into alignment, then it becomes reality. But only if that happens. And even if it does happen, it's a lower timeline. It may happen, but it's a lower timeline. It is not the highest timeline you can be living. So if something good may be working out, but you may still be like, no, this is good. I know it's good, but still something seems off about it. I still feel like something's missing. Something's not right here. That's because source is trying to tell you, hello, there's something more for you. And you'll have people say, you've got everything. What in the world, what more do you want? I don't know. I can't tell you just get out of that heart of yours. You're always so emotional. Yeah, that's right. Ignore all that stuff. You're always reaching for more. Yes, I am. I'm reaching for my highest timeline. I'm reaching for my highest timeline. So I hope that explains to you what we're talking about with the different aspects and how they're competing for the energetic bandwidth, which is our lifetime. The energetic space, which is our lifetime. Our day-to-day energy, the seconds of our beingness. Those aspects, they want to express their physicality through us because their levels are not as physical as us. So they want to align and express themselves through us. And the problem is, it's always going to be a lesser timeline. The highest timeline is pure source energy. It's not even the source energy at the very top. And many of us know we are like archangel energy or angel energy or some other personification of energy that we know. And we're like, well, but that's the energy I am. So that's my guide. I'll listen to that. No, because that top of your beingness that you are, it has been divided from source and it has been going through this cycle for a long time. So it is a part of this aspect process here. It has, if you will, an agenda of its own as well. See the lights? This is why there are the stories, I was going to use the word myths, but I don't want to offend anyone, the stories of angels and archangels doing battle and not agreeing with one another, and fallen angels and all of those things. That's what all of that is about. Again, I'm not trying to step on anyone's belief systems, but that's what these energies are. And the energy we want to listen to is pure source energy. That energy has our highest timeline. That's the communication we want to come all the way down, and we want to embrace. And when we look in the mirror, that is always going to feel good to us. Yep. I'm going to put that out. If I got that back from someone, that would be perfect. It's never going to feel bad to us. Putting it out and getting it back is never going to feel bad to us. And someone's going to say, but that's selfish. What about? No, it's not. Because your twin flame, their highest and best good timeline is source energy too. Now, they may not be and may not ever be aligning to that. You have nothing to do with that. That's between them and source. But the best way to help them do that is for you to be in frequency, for them to align too. You agreeing to align to them at a lesser timeline does not help them reach their highest and best good. It actually rewards them for not doing it. Says, okay, you're not at highest and best good. I'll come be with you. And you may think, well, and then we'll get there together. No, because what tends to happen is once we settle is where we stay, or we even drop down lower. So no, we're never being selfish when we reach for our highest timeline. What we're doing is saying, this is my highest timeline. All energies that are resonant with me, that will be their highest timeline as well. And all who aren't, I'm not judging them. They have chosen, though, whether knowingly or unknowingly, whether aware or not, whether energetically awake or not, they have chosen not to align with their highest timeline. I have no judgment about that. I'm not holding a grudge about it. I'm not angry with them about it. No hard feelings about it. But I'm also releasing it as well. They are non-resonant energy with me, no matter who they are. Twin flame, parent, child, whoever. Now, not a minor child, of course. A grown child. We would never release a minor child. We're responsible for those. But a grown child. Someone who's old enough to be sovereign of self. When they take that sovereignty and they choose with that sovereignty to be on a lesser timeline, less than their highest and best good, we are not being selfish when we stay on our highest timeline. We show them mutual respect, and we let them go be who they are. Light and love. Even when they don't show us the same mutual respect back. Even when they're saying, look how selfish you're being. You're not da-da-da-da-da. I understand you see it that way. I'm sorry you do. I look forward to the day when you do understand it, but light and love. Hold your frequency. Now, we get attached to these people. You come across your twin flame, especially when you don't know this stuff. You get layer after layer after layer of energetic attachment to this person. You have hopes and dreams and the different aspects of us. Boy, they feed these. Yeah, we're going to do this together. We're going to do that together. We're going to do this together. So as you get triggered again, you'll have to peel those layers off. So you'll continually be triggered, healing, or progressing as you release non-resonant energies, as you say no or transcend the aspects that are between you and source energy or your highest timeline. But it gets easier and easier and you recognize it faster and faster. And the key to it all is I'm not being selfish. When I'm at my highest timeline, I attract in those who are also at their highest timeline. The more of us who are living our highest timeline, the more people will be attracted to their higher timelines. We bring the frequency of the planet up that way. No judgment on those who are not. You don't know until you know, and you don't integrate it until you integrate it. We don't do until we do. And none of us knew until just recently. And even those of us who know cannot do it perfectly yet. Even those who've been doing it a long time, I'm telling you folks, nobody's doing this perfectly. We're still clearing things. We still have things that are coming around triggering us. And we're like, why am I out of sorts? Why does my energy feel off? What's just happened here? You'll have 3 or 4 days, a week, a month that you'll be going along cruising, everything's great. Then all of a sudden your energy will get wonky. Something will have triggered you. And there'll be this energetic layer you need to take off. So you can progress, so you can heal, so you can go forward. Because this energetic layer is stuck energy that is keeping your chakra system from functioning properly, so that you're getting the correct transmissions, so that you're understanding clearly, so that your energy is clear to be communicating with source, so that these other aspects cannot take advantage and override what the heart knows intuitively, but is not understanding. Because stuck energy keeps our chakra system from working correctly. It impairs the integrity of our energetic field. Stuck energy and the impaired energetic field leads to physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual dis-ease, discomfort, or disease, poor health, decreases the longevity of our lives. So that's why we're taking off these layers. And we'll circle around and we'll take more of them off. And we'll keep doing that until we have them all. And then we will really be high vibrational people. This is a process. And we're all around the planet at various stages of this process. So we certainly can't go around judging one another for it or holding grudges for it. Yet at the moment in time that we get triggered over something, even the most enlightened, the most awake, most energetically aware, we'll have a moment or two, perhaps, or an hour or a day or a week or whatever, where they're like, that person did this to me, this, da, 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 because they did, and it's how it feels, et cetera, et cetera. But that layer of energy has to come off, let it go. And when you let that layer of energy go, you come up in frequency, you come up in level of consciousness, and you realize it's not my best and highest timeline. That's one of these aspects, is what they want. That's a lower timeline. That's a denser energy pulling me down out of frequency. And when I look at it from my highest timeline, I see that all of that is about just lower levels of conscious awareness. It's not about me. It's not because that person is bad. It's not because I've done something bad. It's none of that. We're simply at different levels of conscious awareness. Our energies aren't resonant. And so it is, and so it is. And I long for the day that it won't be. But the fastest way for me to change it is for me to do my work and to be on my highest timeline. And for me to release everyone who's not, and to accept those who are. The job that is, the family members that are, or the friends that we make family because they are, the hobbies that are, the love that is. Maybe it'll be your twin flame, maybe a high vibrational soulmate, but that's okay. because you have a chance to be happy there, because that's resonant energy. You can never be happy with someone that you're not in resonant energy with. It doesn't matter if your energies are supposed to align perfectly because they were divided at the point of creation. If you're at different levels of conscious awareness, you may be the same energy. You're not vibrating the same. So you just as well not be the same energy. Yes, you recognize each other. Yes, there's layer after layer after layer of energy there, pulling you toward one another. Layer after layer of recognition, past life recognition. Simply, you're so alike, you're recognizing one another. You're so drawn to one another. But you have to let those layers go. Because when you're non-resonant, you're non-resonant. And you cannot pull out of high vibrational energy to meet them at a lesser timeline and have the experience here that you're both meant to have. You're not doing them a favor or yourself. You're always doing all of humanity and yourself and the cosmos the favor of bringing order to chaos when you step up and step into your highest timeline possible. When you allow pure source energy to have its fullest expression as above, so below in you, in the physicality of your human beingness, because that is the design. And the aspects in between, they live out what to us is illusion and delusion and fantasy and et cetera, but it's not tactility or physicality. It's not reality. And even when it aligns with our reality, it is a lesser timeline. It is not our best and highest good. So the meditation is going to be simply that we are going to align to the energy that is our best and highest good. And ask that any layers of energy that need to come off, that are preventing us from being able to hold that alignment with best and highest good for a particular situation, that those layers come off. Now, these layers coming off can be, people may experience them differently. You may be aware of them, you may not be. You may feel yourself ascend as they come off, you may not. There's all sorts of things you may experience or you may not. Simply set the intention that it is so and it is so. Know that those layers are going to come off and your energy is going to be free of all things preventing you from simply allowing source energy to come down and express through you without interference of these aspects. And that whatever the interference is, whatever needs to come off is coming off. Simply accept that that is so and it shall be so. But many of you may actually feel some of it, and that will be different for everyone. So if you'd like to light a candle, the increase of the heat makes the molecules vibrate faster. When the molecules vibrate faster, the frequency goes up. So we go up in vibrational frequency faster, helps us connect to the energy we need to channel faster. If you use crystals, same thing. The color of the crystals associate with a light ray, and the frequency of the crystals themselves are high vibrational. So if you'd like to do that, okay? Let's put ourselves now in our pyramids and call in the pink light, please, of transcendent love, and allow that light to fill us up as we breathe it in and exhale out. Just keep breathing the pink light in. And allow it to remove all that does not serve us. This transcendent love takes everything within us, turns it into truly unconditional love, raises our vibrational frequency, dissolves all that is not love. And now another pyramid comes in around us, and it has pink light and violet light, the same thing. our energy is cleared. So we take in the colors of the light. And then our third pyramid, pink light, violet flame, and blue light, which is unconditional love. Those three come in. As the pyramids enhance the energy flow, making it stronger and stronger. Now we ask source energy to send down the purest of white light down through our chakra system, balancing, rotating, centering, calibrating, cleansing all of our chakras from the stellar gateway all the way through the Earth Star, which holds our Chiron wound healing and grounded us all the way to Mother Earth now. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. And now we pull clean, pure energy up to our heart space, connecting back up with only those energies that are pure source energy. Connecting all the way back up. And now we have a positive energy loop between Mother Earth below the core, the crystalline grid, and our source energy above, pure source energy. Let it fill all of your beingness. Create an aura around you. We ask that any layers of energy of any kind that are in the way of us achieving our best and highest good timeline, we ask that we see those clearly, understand what we need to do with them, and that they be released, released, released. Each of you may experience this differently. As we now bring in the energy, the channeled energy, for you to experience the energetic release of these layers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And as we are connected now, all the way to pure source energy, asking source to remove all that does not serve us and making this life our very best and highest timeline. We bring in the highest vibrational frequencies of energy, and we leave them here for you now to use as long as you need and as often as you need. You may stay as long as you like. Do this as often as you need, and end according to your practice.